Trick of the algorithm, you are here on a Stitch Eye production. Today, we're going to be playing some Green Hell. But firstly, let me address this. I said the next video was going to be... I said the next video was going to be the hates everything Skyrim. And this is obviously not it. This is not Skyrim. As you may imagine, since this is my second real video that I will be publishing, I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm learning. And this is all part of learning. As the eminent Jake the dog once said, sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna suck a little bit today. I have decided to put a little timer. Put a little timer there. So that way I know how long I've been going for and how much longer I want to be going. I'm gonna arbitrarily pick 30 minutes. That feels like enough for y'all to get a good idea of what I'm playing, and enough time for my brain to ramp up enough to actually have interesting things to say. Boy, howdy, this loading screen is taking a while. That's not true. On my system, I have kind of a, today, lower-end system. It was a very high-end system about 10 years ago. So Green Hell tends to load pretty slowly. Maybe you will all notice that in my other videos for other games. But once we actually get in-game, the... how to put it? Performance. The performance will be better. Oh, okay. So, with that out of the way, what is Green Hell? Green Hell is... I should have written a script, but I didn't. Green Hell is a survival horror, let us say, game that has a number of different modes. Right now, I'm playing the survival mode. As you might imagine, since this is... I mean, maybe I will... Maybe I should do playthroughs of the story in games that have stories. But generally, I actually don't play a lot of games that have stories anymore. I don't know. I guess it's just not where my brain... I'm someone who, if I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play a game, I am probably going to play that game for multiple hours. And I'm also someone with real bad ADHD, if you can't tell. And so playing the same story, hearing the same characters say the same things over and over again, it can be hard on me. But, you know, like a lot of us today, well, not as many as there should be, but like a lot of us today, I'm going to therapy, I'm working on myself, and if you're the kind of person who hears that and you go, wow, what a nutcase, that's not cool. I understand that you may think that, but everybody needs... What I mean by everybody needs therapy is... even if you feel like you don't have anything to work through, it, if you can afford it, is worth it. Well, that's a rattlesnake. It is worth it to go and get therapy. Get specifically to talk to a therapist about those problems you do have. Maybe get to the root of that, if for no other reason than to just understand who you are. That's been a pretty neat journey for me. I gotta tell you. pretty neat. Anyway, Green Hell has, technically, nothing to do with therapy. Well, maybe. Maybe one day I will do the story mode of Green Hell. If I decide to do specifically story modes for games, I will. This will be the first one that happens with. But you play as professional scientist anthropologist Jake Higgins. And in the story mode, you're... I don't want to use the word investigating. Well, I stepped on a snake, and now I have 2 poison stacks and 1 fever stack. That's what that's called. I forgot there for a second. Go back to the actual gameplay. In Green Hell, as you can see, you will, from time to time, encounter situations where you will have wounds, certain effects happening, such as the poison and the fever. And as you go around picking stuff up, literally picking things in the case of plants, you will discover that every single thing has some kind of use. There are some things that I guess you could call decorative. Certainly there's paint, which is relatively new. I'm very excited because the development team, Creepy Jar, are working on a new game. And this Green Hell, in my opinion, has been such a polished experience. And more importantly, even, it has been a consistently fun experience. It's just sometimes that's fun, and sometimes that's triple exclamation mark, capital fun, triple exclamation mark. If you know, you know. But you go around, you pick stuff. Once I have my brain on for 5 seconds, you take those items, and as you're seeing right now, I am crafting I wouldn't say a simple stone axe, as you may have seen. That was standard size stick, rope, 2 small stones. I think of it as the advanced stone axe because there is also a recipe where you can take 1 stone and 1 regular size stick, and that is an axe that will get done basically all the same things that this advanced quote-unquote axe will do. It's just that the advanced axe has more health. As well, it just feels a bit more... how to put it? It feels stronger. I have no idea if it actually harvests resources or breaks things, does damage in any objectively better way, but it feels like it. And especially with these kinds of games, and arguably all games, game feel is so important. I feel the heft of these logs, even though I know, in a sense, they're not a problem for me right now. I can hit Q, I can drop them, immediately start running. Although I definitely recommend, unless you 100% know where you're going and know that that path is safe, don't go running. Just don't. Just don't run. I suppose there are other situations where if this was a little less dense, I might say, oh, well, I can step in the places where I see no bad things. But then in the tiny bushes, there might be a rattlesnake, or there may be... well, I don't think you'd miss one of the leopards. Or tigers? I don't think it's a tiger.
Thirsty.
It's been a long time since I've analyzed that creature enough to know the name of it. And to the Creepy Jar devs, I'm sorry about that. That's on me. It's not on you. When I played this a lot more heavily, I could definitely look at almost every resource at any given moment and say, I recognize that so much. I know almost exactly what it's going to do. Whether it's the blue mushrooms that we'll be seeing sometime in the future, I'm not paying enough attention to stay alive. I should not have picked such a high difficulty to come back to. And that's something that I know will be divisive for a lot of people is on especially the higher difficulties. No, it's a higher difficulty, so you should expect it to be more difficult. But you will definitely feel how much more difficult and realistic, both in a real-world sense and in an internal logic sense, this game is. I've played Ark, I played The Forest, there was a time that I played Rust. I've played a lot of what you might call open-world survival craft games, to go off of the Steam tags. And in my opinion, for what it's doing, Green Hell is, I would say, the benchmark.
Could use a drink.
I have never had as much fun absolutely getting my shit kicked in
Disgusting. Ugh.
in an open world survival game, open world survival craft game than I have in Green Hell. It's definitely not a everyone will like it, but I think the people who will like it, like me, will absolutely love it. Anytime a friend would suggest, let's go play The Forest, let's go play, well, Rust is a little different. Even Ark, but not the way I play Ark. Let's go play The Forest. Let's go play Ark. Let's go play some other open world survival craft. There will be some part of Green Hell that you will say, I don't know, Green Hell does it better. The one thing, and it feels a little bit like a nitpick, and it definitely is, but the one thing I remember The Forest had over, in my opinion, Green Hell was the sled. Now, I also want to be very, very clear that, well, hey, Green Hell has a sled now. If you didn't know, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. That, obviously, all of these games are trying to do vastly different things. And I appreciate that. I genuinely do appreciate that. And I think that's why maybe I was a little overly emphatic. Because maybe this won't be. Even if you like it, maybe this won't be your why play X when we could play this. But I don't know. I think The Forest does a much better job at being a horror game I think it really nails that in a way that other horror game people who are coming in looking for a horror game, I think you're not going to find that with Green Hell. At least not the survival mode, and maybe not the Spirits of Amazonia, which is sort of new game. Not new game. It's a prologue to the story mode. But the story mode in Spirits of Amazon we will get into later. I still also really like those, but again, later. Oh, thinking about Ark, Survival Evolved. I hear things about the new game, and doesn't sound like it for me. Anyway, Green Hell wants you to do two things, and only really one thing in survival mode.
Shit.
And that is, it wants you to have fun struggling. And it might feel a little bit like, well, duh, of course, every survival game wants you to feel like you're struggling, and then eventually like you are very, very powerful, and you can feel that sense of progression. And I disagree about Green Hell feeling like that. You are never, in my opinion, going to hit a point in Green Hell where you feel like you are invincible, that nothing can harm you, or that a thing that you didn't have to worry about from minute one, in Green Hell, I would say, outside of even the hunger, rattlesnakes. That is probably going to be one of the first aggressive animals you will encounter. And I think, gosh, how to put it? I think, totally lost my train of thought. Hopefully I'll edit this. Although, I think I'm going to start a second playlist, because playlist 1, I want to be season 1, and I guess at some point I'm going to have to go back and rearrange it, because I really like channels who have playlists where if there's a specific era or a specific game that has multiple episodes, I like being able to go from episode 1, hit play, and just not even look at YouTube, look at my phone again. Because Green Hell, although it is a quiet game, it is a game that makes great use of its soundscape. Here, let me... You hear that rain, right? There's something walking in the distance. Maybe... Well, it just made an armadillo noise. But before it made an armadillo noise, it could have been a peccary. Or it could have been a capybara. All animals that you will see in Green Hell. I don't know about the story mode. I finished story mode. Oh, gosh. I think even before they had capybaras in the game. I could totally be wrong. Maybe that was a day one thing, and because I did not play Green Hell day one. I want to also be clear about that. But gosh, now that I have to actually think about what it is that I'm saying, because I recognize that I'm giving a lot of really high praise. And perhaps, especially with my last video, perhaps there may be a feeling that I will always say positive things about any game I play, regardless of whatever empiricism. Let's say empiricism, objectivity, whatever you want to call it. And I would say, no, I don't intend to do that. It's just, sometimes you really do encounter that one game that does that thing you knew could be, if not perfect, then really good open world survival horror crafting. Survival crafting. Because again, I would not necessarily describe Green Hell as a horror game. Again, because in survival mode, I definitely have been worried before. There are definitely times, specifically on the permadeath modes, which are my main mode of playing Green Hell. And now that I've finished the story, I do need to go back to Spirits of Amazon. It was pretty good. But, again, to be clear, if you are someone who likes story in games, like I do, sometimes you don't want to play a story game. Sometimes you want to be able to just put your headphones down, play a game, listen to something. I get that. But, I'm not even making sure of anything. I'm just walking around here slowly dying. Like, I don't care if you think I'm good at video games or not. I'm not here to absolutely wow you with my expert speedrun let's play. But I do want to share in the joy of these games with people. If it's a game that I feel doesn't have enough tutorials or doesn't have enough high quality tutorials, I will make tutorials about that. And actually, there are definitely things, specific crafting recipes in Green Hell that you will need the wiki for. And I'm the kind of person that thinks that is fun. Not having to go to a wiki every 5 seconds like some games. Ark. That was one of my big problems with Ark, is I felt like I needed to either memorize the wiki or that I needed to just have it right there on my phone or on a second monitor or whatever. And there's only so much of that personally I can take, and I felt like Ark was too much of that. Both the Forest and Green Hell, I feel, do a really good job of, especially because once you craft something at least once in any particular save, you'll have that in your little notebook. Also, don't use this video to learn how to play Green Hell. That's not what this video is about. Because as you can see, I'm like pretty actively dying in ways that I super wouldn't be. Like, I don't have to be dying this hard. It's just I'm more focused on talking to you right now. Talking to whoever it is has once again made a horrible... there's so many other things you could be doing with your day. But you know what? You're here with me. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're here, whoever you are.
God, I'm thirsty.
Gosh. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, that's a worm. in certain situations, if you sleep on the ground or sleep in not safe enough ways, you will get a worm, which now that I have, I thought I saw all 4. Obviously one worm per limb. Yep, I've got all 4. So I'm taking 12 sanity damage every so often. And I'll just, I'll try to stay alive long enough for you to hopefully experience it in pretty close to the way that I will be experiencing it once the sanity goes down enough. As well, one thing that I really like about Green Hell, I can't remember if the Forest does this. I'm going to be playing it just for fun.
There's no just shut up.
Listen. Ooh, okay. See, when you first cross that threshold, you might have heard...
You're never gonna make it home.
Yep, you'll hear that. And especially as someone who also hallucinates from time to time due to stress.
Just give up.
This is very... Gosh. It feels very realistic to some of my worst moments.
Doesn't it?
So maybe that's something that is skewing my opinion so hard that
Don't even try.
this Green Hell is so realistic, so realistic that I see so much of myself in Jake Higgins sometimes. Like, if Jake Higgins was non-binary, I would lose my mind how happy it would make me. But, not every character needs to be LGBT in some way. But, like, I don't know. Jake Higgins is enough of a man in many different ways. Oh yeah, a little spider. I'm gonna die, so that's a noise. I think I didn't put this on permadeath. Well, there's... Oh, goodness. So, as you saw, I had a hallucination of a Waraha tribesman. I have not heard from anyone that the tribespeople are portrayed negatively. I think especially in Spirits of Amazon. Actually, yeah, throughout the whole game. Because the Waraha are not the only tribespeople here in the Amazon. Which saying it like that is super crazy to me. In the sense of like, wow, this is, I don't know if this is the entire Amazon River, but it's certainly not the entire Amazon rainforest. It's not Daggerfall. All right, that pass out. Oh, I'm not dead yet. Okay, all right. In the bottom left, you will see your sanity meter, which, as we can see, is very low for me.
I'll never get back. No one is.
You'll also see health, top bar. As you can see, I'm almost dead. And then energy, bottom bar, both your more long-term energy in the form of the large bar and your short-term sort of burst energy in the thinner bar. So if I actually start running, you can see, and then once you hit that, you're not going to be able to do... a lot of some important things, but the most important things you'll still be able to do at a significantly slower pace. Like here, see, so one swing, I'm a sleepy little guy. So I take a little nap, or I take a little rest. But yes, any second now, I'm going to die. Maybe one of these days I should learn Green Hell speed running and just try to speed run. Well, I don't know how you would speed run survival. Oops. Okay, that was permanent. Well, now you see how easy it is to die, and when you're in permadeath, how extremely meaningful that is. Let's go to, you know what, let's go to Welcome to the Jungle. I think of Welcome to the Jungle as being normal, because obviously it looked like there was a cool name for easy, cool for normal, cool for hard, and then, that last one could really kind of be anything. Some people would say impossible, insane, nightmare. Earlier I wanted to call it a New Game Plus, and that was wrong because it's not the same. What am I talking about? Spears of Amazonia. I called it a New Game Plus, and no. Spears of Amazonia is not a New Game Plus. It's prologue. It's a prequel, let us say, inside the game. You have to pay for a second one. You ain't got to pay for the prologue to know a little bit more about what happened before the events of the main story. No, that's not separate $60. That's not, oh, hey, in 5 years we're going to bundle it together with the main story. And that's why support indie developers. Buy their games. And I almost want to say, even if you don't like someone's games, but that's not true. That's not, no, don't ever buy any game just because. But yeah, indie developers are going to treat us better than the AAA devs. I think that's not a controversial thing to say, even if people might maybe disagree. I don't know. And really then they wouldn't be like, don't support indie devs. I don't really know anyone who's like, fuck indie devs. But, well, looky there. 3.25 minutes over. Alright. Well, if I do another one of these in Green Hell, maybe I'll do it in story mode. I feel like eventually I will. But, certainly, this save file, this save slot, is gonna be just for y'all. I'm not gonna do anything on it without you seeing, and if you decide that the video that happens in is too boring, that's fair. You can always come back. My videos are not more important than your mental well-being. And boy, oh boy, don't we all need a little mental health day? Don't we all need over 33 minutes of some high ADHDer just rambling about what they love? But anyway, I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, whenever this is happening, or whenever you're hearing this. And, gosh, let me think. I hope you keep watching the channel. You won't have a choice, really. Your eyes are stitched open. Bye! Oh yeah.